everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at the newest expansion for Dice Throne Outcasts. Dice Throne is a game that, for me, just keeps getting better and better, and I enjoy it. And this one comes with 4 new people: the Necromancer, the Ravenous, the Headless Horseman, and the Pale Lady, also known as a werewolf. This kind of fits in the theming of Santa Claus and Krampus that came out. It has that Halloween vibe to it. So let's take a look at, I'm assuming if you're watching this, you already like Dice Throne. Let's take a look at what these add. We're going to start by looking at the Pale Lady, or the werewolf. Look, the scars are in the same spot. Anyhow, the Pale Lady, that's her whole deal. She actually can flip her board and turn into the werewolf. How does that work? Well, it works with moon shards. In fact, I thought these pieces were broken. I was like, oh no, it broke. But actually, they're just 3 pieces that you put together. And as you get the moon shards, once you get all 3 of them, you will be able to flip your board. But then as the werewolf, each round of the game, you lose a moon shard. And so then when all your moon shards are gone, then you flip your hero board and you're back as she is. Now, her abilities are not nearly as good as his are. So for example, the hunt here. She does 2, inflict prey, which is one of her things where when you attack someone, you can roll a die to increase your damage. This is the prey token here. And then do 6 damage. While on the other side, the hunter does 2 prey and then deals 7 damage. The shred here for the werewolf is 4, 5, or 6 damage, and then does bleed. Over here, it's 4, 5, or 6, and on 3 of a kind, it needs bleed. While on the werewolf side, it's undefendable. That's the difference. Sorry, it's undefendable damage on one side, and it is normal damage on the other. So the werewolf's better in pretty much almost every way. Her dice, which I think are really cool, the pink dice. There's different cards that she has. Like here, you can just transform into the werewolf. It's expensive, but you gain a moon shard and flip your hero board. Then some cards work if you're the Pale Lady or if you're the werewolf. And they just have, like here, if you're a werewolf, you can heal 2, then flip back to the Pale Lady. Is that worth it? So there's a lot of different things in regards to if you're the werewolf or Pale Lady. But overall, it's a pretty easy one to do. You'll become the werewolf every 2, 3, 4 turns or so. And whenever you are, your opponent's not going to be very happy. Especially with her defense, you're going to possibly get moon shards. And then with his defense, you're going to do bleed and damage to your opponent. Not pretty much defensive, but an all-out attacker. Next, we have the Ravenous here. She comes with Nevermore. So there's this little crow spinning thing here, which goes up to 3. And every time you activate Nevermore, you're going to be able to do a couple things. You can send it to somebody else, you can send it to another person, or you can absorb vitality. So when this is on somebody else, you increase the dial by 1, which can go up to 3, and then you're going to do that much damage to your opponent. You can also, if it comes back to the Ravenous for any reason, you heal by the number shown on here, then you reduce that to 0. Now, there are all kinds of things that this will do to your opponent. You have feathers that you're going to be able to use to manipulate a die roll, because when they have it, every turn they're rolling a die, and bad things are going to happen to them, as shown on this chart here. 6 will send it back to the Ravenous, but the other ones are all bad. Discarding cards, letting the Ravenous activate them more often, or losing the CP. So this is all negative stuff, and then her cards themselves are all about activating it. To activate it, getting feathers, or to upgrade it here, with the Chamber 2, activating it 3 times and then doing 7 undefendable damage. So there's some cool stuff like that. She also has a really cool hex. When you play this on somebody, when they get hexed, then all their 6s become blanks instead, which is just a terrible thing to play on your opponent. So she's a little bit more complicated than the other people, sending this around at people to attack them. But she also does a lot of other cool things and some nice defense and attack too. The Necromancer is one of the most complex characters. There's a lot going on. They get this corpse dial that they can keep track of the number of corpses they get. At the beginning of their turn, you must take this Unearth card and cover up one of your abilities, which means you don't have access to that ability, and it has to be a different one each time. But there's a number of corpses in the corners of these, and then that's how many you'll add to your corpse dial. And there are other ways to get corpses. you will spend corpses, and this shows you here, 2, 3, or 6 to summon warriors, and 10 to get the amazing Resurrect. Resurrect is a really cool power in which it will bring you back to life with just a little bit of health. With 5 health, you can't spend CP, you don't have any cards, but you just might survive. But why are you summoning all these different creatures here, the different golems? Each of them will do various effects on your turn. The Skeletal Warriors add 1 to your damage. The Skeletal Mages give you Decrypify, which you can play on someone which lets them only reroll 2 dice or steal health. The Bone Golem adds 2, but you also can discard it to do 2 damage when you're attacked and prevent 2 of the damage being done to you, which is pretty neat. You don't have to roll a die. There are other ways to get these out there. There are cards that you have where you just summon the different abilities that you have. You have to roll a die for each of your guys at the end of your turn, and they might just disintegrate, but this lets you re-roll dice or sturdier bones and things like that. And so that's kind of the Necromancer. He's just constantly re-rolling these. But even though I love all these warriors and stuff that he can summon, and that's pretty cool, I think, and he has Corpse Explosion where you can spend corpses to attack your opponent, which is kind of fun too. But my favorite thing about him is this come back to life. It's just a neat little trick to have there, that when you destroy me, I just get that one more turn. This is my favorite character from the set, if only I like his abilities, but I also just love that he throws his head, this is part of the picture here, throwing his head at another player. And when you throw it at someone else's head, and then each turn you're going to be slowly getting terror from having them. And there's other ways that will give you terror. And when you get 4 terror, you can spend those, the dreadful, terrorizing an opponent. You get rid of these dreadful tokens. You move this back to your board. You do 3 undefendable damage to them. You gain Grim Pursuit, which is another token that you have that you can spend to get an extra roll attempt. Or when you attack, you can add 1 to all the damage that you get for each of the horseshoes that you roll. By the way, these are fantastic dice too. Some of my favorite dice in the game. So he's just a lot of fun. He's basically running around throwing his head at the different people in the game. And he just has fun special abilities that he can use. You can remove a Grim Pursuit to make an attack undefendable, which is a pretty powerful thing that you can do. If you have the Haunted Head, you can use it to prevent 3 damage. So it's just a lot of fun. This is just a, I don't know, I just like throwing a head at people. This is a very enjoyable expansion, but I will say one thing. These all have complexities on them. The Pale Lady, for example, is a complexity of 3. She's definitely the easiest one to play of them all, but that's it. After that, the Headless Horseman, what is he? He's a complexity of 4, and then after that, they just gave him more complex, and that's fine. But I would not buy these if you're just getting into Dice Throne. And if you are, then play the Pale Lady. I love her ability, switching back and forth to a werewolf. I just love the visual aspect of the Headless Horseman's head being thrown. He's a little similar to Thor, if you played Thor, who throws a hammer at people. The Ravenous feels unique. The Necromancer is fun. Not as powerful as he sounds. You're like, wow, bringing back armies of the undead. No, they're just there to give you little bonuses, but they're fun bonuses. I'm going to take all 4 of these characters through the new Marvel Adventures that they brought out. But these are great. I mean, Dice Throne just keeps nailing it with new characters who feel different than everyone else. These look fantastic. The artwork, of course, is still one of the best parts of Dice Throne. Just overall, I find this to be such an enjoyable, terrific game to play. And this is one of my favorite expansions for it so far. A 9 out of 10. I really like this. Check it out. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching The Dice Tower. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.